The Abbott government's long-awaited agricultural white paper has become the latest target of Cabinet's powerful Razor Gang. The ABC's learned Barnaby Joyce's prized document is being stalled as senior economic ministers weigh up contentious new spending measures. Sources say it contains crackpot and expensive ideas. Political reporter Andrew Green is speaking here to Labor's agricultural spokesman, Joel Fitzgibbon.
Joel Fitzgibbon, welcome to Weekend Breakfast.
It's a pleasure.
We understand that the Agriculture White Paper, which Barnaby Joyce has been working on, has now left the Prime Minister and Cabinet Department and is being handled by the Prime Minister's office. Is this an appropriate step, as you'd expect, before that gets released?
Look, agriculture is spinning out of control under Barnaby Joyce. We've now been 18 months without an agriculture policy. I said at the beginning of this parliament that I wanted to work with Barnaby Joyce in a bipartisan manner to take agriculture out of the political cycle, to give it strategic guidance, to look at the big picture. But there's been nothing to support, and like every farm organisation and every farming family, I'm very frustrated.
Would it make sense to have a minister who has a lot to do with Barnaby Joyce already, the Trade Minister Andrew Robb, also take a look at this white paper and to fine-tune it before it goes out?
I just want someone to make some decisions. We were promised a white paper prior to Christmas, and here we are almost into April, and we're now told that it could be post-budget before we see any result. In any case, all the signs are bad. We were hoping for a high-level strategic document, one which took us in the right direction to capitalise on the enormous opportunities we have in Asia. It looks to me like it'll be almost election time again before this white paper even hits the ground, and I'm not confident it's going to be a document of quality.
Some of the details that have already appeared to have leaked from that document include interest rate subsidies for farmers and those sorts of things, some ideas that have been kicked around for many decades. Would you support that concept?
Look, I was in Darwin yesterday speaking at the Northern Territory Cattlemen's Association annual conference. I can tell you that the agriculture sector has moved on. It is modernising. It can see the enormous opportunities ahead, but it also understands there are challenges to overcome. It knows that we need to get real, get modern, talk at the high-level strategic end to move forward. They're not interested in Barnaby's 1950s thinking.
While we talk on the Cattlemen's Association, Labor, of course, had a lot of problems in that area. Is that something that Barnaby can fix in this white paper?
Well, the real opportunities for Australian beef are in moving forward with the free trade agreements. Of course, Labor began that process in office, but what Barnaby Joyce doesn't tell the broader community is that we have a lot of work to do before we benefit from those agreements, mainly because of technical barriers to trade, the protocols that now have to be negotiated and fixed around those free trade agreements. But what beef and the ag sector needs more generally is investment, and it's for government to send the right price signals to sort of inform investors in what areas government is prepared to make life easiest and therefore most profitable for investors. That's what this government needs to be doing, instead of, by the way, putting barriers to investment, which is the case with respect to their recent changes to the Foreign Investment Review Board rules.
You've just talked a lot about trade in terms of agriculture, so wouldn't that also highlight the fact that having the Trade Minister involved with the Agriculture White Paper makes a lot of sense?
Trade is critical to agriculture, there's no doubt, and there's nothing inherently wrong with Andrew Robb getting involved. In fact, I would welcome it. But the fact is that Andrew Robb is coming in to smack Barnaby Joyce's backside and try to shock him into the 21st century and to produce a document that's going to take us forward, capitalising on all those wonderful opportunities we have with respect to the Asian food boom.
If we just look at Barnaby Joyce's tenure as Agriculture Minister, when he arrived, Andrew Metcalfe was the Department Secretary. We then saw the very high-profile departure of Mr Grimes and now an acting Secretary in the Department. What do you think that has done to the Agriculture White Paper process?
Well, agriculture's been chaos under Barnaby Joyce. He can't keep his secretary. We've had big staffing cuts in agriculture. Bizarrely and very concerningly, we've had big cuts in biosecurity, probably the most important thing to agriculture's future. We were promised a white paper prior to Christmas, and here we are almost April, and we're still waiting. And given now Andrew Robb's now been brought in to try to fix things, we can have little confidence that when we do get a white paper, it's going to be a document of any quality.
And do you expect Barnaby Joyce to remain Minister till the next election?
Well, that's a matter for Tony Abbott. Tony Abbott himself has to remain Prime Minister all the way to the next election. This is an agriculture portfolio in chaos within a chaotic government, and we'll see where it takes us. But meantime, all the people I was speaking with in Darwin yesterday are very concerned about the chaotic nature of agriculture and the lack of any strategic guidance from this government.
Joel Fitzgibbon, thanks very much for your time.
It's a great pleasure.